Buenos dias, hello everybody. To this point, my year feels like a year that has been full of sneaky surprises and success stories in the world of the video games. Sure, there haven't been a ton of memorable and transparent AAA titles, but the realm of AA and indie games has been gracing us with a constant bangers and really non-stop. The latest addition to this game controversial is the Midnight Walk, a title that is fundamentally different from the open world map clearing, hyper-realistic, typical AAA experience as you can possibly get. If you're expecting anything from this game that you could also see in a blockbuster action movie, you're probably in the wrong place. Instead, the Midnight Walk thrives in the weird and creepy but creative, and it's kind of an art and piece in a way, but no more than you label The Nightmare Before the Christmas as one. Still, it's not your traditional video game experience, especially when factoring it's been handmade with virtual reality in mind too. Whatever you have a modern VR headset to play this game or not, you're still an absolute masterclass in ambience, vibe, and emotions and all the same. If you ever like grim fairy tale, been afraid of the monsters under your bed, or have even just simply sculpted a weird creature with a Play-Doh, the Midnight Walk, I think that's for you. This game feels like we just don't get it anyone. And I mean that in the best way possible. There was a time when we were spoiled with the bite-sized creative emotional video games that wore their hearts off their sleeves and still got pushed to the top of the marketing piles to make their way in front of us. The of games like Journey, The Unfinished Swan, and Gone Home, and you start to get a feel what the Midnight Walk fits in best way. Today, these titles still exist, but the digital marketplaces are so flooded with competition that many of them come and go without ever having a chance to make their mark on us. I must insist here, however, that we all stop to appreciate just how special the Midnight Walk truly is particularly from a storytelling perspective. Pack the deep with this story that simple enough on the surface is a pseudo children book that dares to dive all the way into the themes of death, pain, suffering, regret, shame, expectations, love, loss, labels, isolations, darkness, presence, and destiny. Trust me, I could even go beyond all of those examples too. Somehow, incredibly, all of this armor is masterfully layered into the game that doesn't even top 5 hours, yet still address all of these topics in a beautiful way. If all of this sounds like it could get kind of heavy, well it does, at the times. Even so, it's also a counter with such endearing characters and incredible lore that it's all just works. Yeah, you're having navigation emotional subject no matter how to existential crisis, but it somehow spreads out and softens just enough to never feel oppressive while still hitting you just much as it needs to. Apart from the more abstract narrative ideas, the Midnight Walk is really just about you and your goofy claymation buddy, Podboy, trekking to the top of the Moon Mountain to find a use for the flame in a sunless world that becomes nearly completely devoid of light, strangely not unlike the Dark Souls. The darkness has molded this world of clay into a place that's hard to live in, but yet its residents have learned to move forward and adapt with it, except the darkness for what it is, as terrifying it sometimes may be. All the stories is doled out when it means to be by storybook narrator and unique cast of character places along the way, but it's also present in description collectibles or audio recordings you can pick and listen as you continue exploring the world. From here, I think you simply need to experience this beautiful storytelling adventure on your own, as sharing may rob a tale that genuinely made me more emotional, but its conclusion that anything other game has since my original rewarding climb to the top of the mountain in Journey. A top-tier narrative experience is still really only as good as I ultimately presented to you, and Why Not Walk once again nails everything in this regarding too. The one look at the trailer and the screen cap from the game, and it's impossible not to think that your favorite claymation stop motion, the Burton project, like that Nightmare Before Christmas, the Corpse Bride, and everything which is related to Tim Burton. The Why Not Walk incredibly is actually stop motion claymation in video game form, and it's a stunning example of medium real-life clay models were recorded and scanned into the developer's suite of creation tools, resulting in one of the most effective and unique visual styles in recent game video memory. If you played this team previously, lost in random. Much of the creepy yet charming fairy tale vibe is alive, and when the midnight walk throughout surpassed is pretty much every metric imaginable. The swap to the first person perspective was clearly correct from the VR standpoint, but even when played traditionally, the view really immerses you in just how wonderfully creepy and visually creative the game truly is. More so than the previous entries from this team, the Midnight Walk is scary. Of course, it's not just a high-octane, jump-scare-filled gore force like a Resident Evil, but it definitely unsettles you a bit than more than might have anticipated, especially in virtual reality. Being chased by fever dream looking monsters is a wild experience in VR, but it's equally as memorable to interact with all game charming cast of supporting characters housed within this beautiful art style as well. This crew includes several heads, cranium-less bodies, two-handed soothsayers, mummified corpses, and even a traveling house on the stilts, clearly inspired by Studio Ghibli while being made entirely in its own, really cannot accurately convey you to just how endearing everything while still adding to the creepy Halloween vibe present throughout everything else. It's been a good year for the video game soundtracks, and the Midnight Walk is a nice addition to its growing list as well. It's a haunting mix of the sparse yet effective string instrument pieces that evoke a James Newton Howard film score, or minimal but shockingly jazzy numbers highlighted by a saxophone, a bow, and piano. The main musical theme is excellent, and it's prepared into the big moments within the game to absolutely wonderful effect. You'll have actually goosebumps whenever it kicks in during particularly and any emotional scenes. And well, I played Midnight Walk on PlayStation VR 2, and it would be absolutely recommended you to do the same, Abel. The game is still 100% playable on the standard TV screen as well. Start to finish, you play throughout the exact same incredible journey, and it's going to be a great time. Still, I can't help but believe that the game is simply better in the VR and was designed more to this platform in mind. The mechanics of the closing your eyes, the make objects in the world disappear are replaced of VR by holding a trigger button and waiting for a couple of seconds as the static screen populates you on TV, simulating you endlessly closing. It all still works totally fine, but having them to miss out the extra level of immersion and wonder that VR brings to the table for something like is a shame regardless. The good news is that the world still looks amazing and the narrative will still hit hard, but VR players will tell you that there is just something different about seeing a game from the inside of the headset, especially one so visually stunning, creepy, and moody. A lot of true horror of the Midnight Walk translates better to be face to face with a monster and it rattles wardrobe when you're hitting inside the small cave and you delve into the shelter. And so in conclusion, this is my favorite game on PlayStation VR 2, a true proof of the concept for the platform you still need. And honestly, there are so many pros that I mentioned before, but I should also say about the cons and a couple very minor VR design hangups. And it's a little short of playing outside of VR. So yeah, thank you for watching. Don't forget to rate, comment, like, subscribe, and please, peace.